Okay, hello, Lightning.
We're live.
Oh my gosh.
We made it.
So
It's been a journey to get here this evening.
it has.
We're sorry that we're 6 minutes late.
It's well, we even put it at this time so we had ample room to get everyone in bed. But you know, parenting is unpredictable.
It is unpredictable, but there is predictability to it. But it is unpredictable, but there's patterns, right? And I can tell you from being a parent for almost 18 years, like the week after a couple week holiday break,
Christmas and New Year's
is rough.
And it's been rough. Are any of you experiencing that? Sound off. Let us know what's going on.
So children are totally dysregulated, aren't listening. We have early commitments tomorrow, so everybody needed to get showered and get to bed on time, and they're resisting that. They're resisting.
Bless their sweet little hearts. And I'm dressed like a coach because I was coaching. So I've got my gray. There's nothing that screams middle-aged YMCA basketball coach like a gray Nike hoodie. Yeah. And I walked in with
walked in and I was like,
and I had my whistle. And
look at you go.
Yeah. So our daughter's doing basketball, and so I'm assistant coaching the team. Dark Wolf, I'm cooking potato and veggie soup and goat milk. Ooh.
How delightful.
Yeah, Michelle B is happy to see us.
Good to see you too.
My girl Seraphine, you guys are amazing. I finished a big project I was struggling with finishing, and because of you, I no longer wish to die.
Well, that's wonderful.
We're glad you don't wish to die. We're glad you're still here. I don't know how, if that is like a absolutely serious statement, then compassionately, I'm glad you're still with us. And if that is, hyperbole, then big projects can do that. Welcome to Mended Light Moments, where we're going to celebrate your wins. I have wins that people
messaged you.
I'm going to pull them up. But
nice.
For those who are joining us live, what have been your wins this past month? Keep in mind that wins come in all shapes and sizes, including I'm still here, or I had a crappy month, or I stumbled and made mistakes and failed a lot, but I learned a lot from it. All from that all the way up to, this huge, what we would traditionally call a success, but it's all wins, right? If you're learning, if you're growing, it's a win.
Success is learning.
Yeah.
That's how we redefine success and failure, right?
Yeah.
So a failure is only if you didn't learn from something.
Right.
And then you're in complete control on whether or not it's a success or failure, right? Because sometimes we think that success is achieving the goal. And so often success is trying again or learning something or, taking a new path because the path you thought you were going to take didn't turn out to be the right path, right? And so when we attach success to an outcome, it becomes very unsupportive. Yeah. And it's not something that you can control. And we're not trying to control life. We're trying to nurture and support ourselves. Yeah. And when we tie success to an outcome, like we're not nurturing and supporting ourselves.
Sorry, some of these comments, what you were saying was great, but people are making me laugh. Log, hi, John. When you type in all caps, I want to yell enthusiastically back to you. So hi, Log. Chris Owensby, definitely not me squinting at the bookshelf to get book recommendations.
Yeah, happy to get book recommendations. There's some good ones back here, but these aren't necessarily my favorite.
Well, these are all my books. These are all my some of my clinical bookshelf that I threw back here for.
Yeah, this is we did this one in our membership site earlier. Radical Love
by Zachary Levi.
That was a real a lot of similar principles that we teach, with just really wonderful anecdotal stories from his life.
Dark Wolf, my brother and his wife just had a baby. My dad just came home from hospital after open heart surgery. Oh, wow. I don't have a lot of skills, but I can at least take cooking off their plate for a meal or two. That's really sweet. Good for you. I'm not much of a cook. I'm more of a do the dishes type of person. So that's fantastic. Look at you. Alex Lupin, I use the phrase non-zero lives, and today I did a non-zero amount of tasks or a non-zero amount of self-care, etc. Helps me pay attention to even the smallest wins. I love that. I did something, right? did something. Emily Nye wishing love to the cinema therapy team. Thank you. We're on Mended Light right now, but thank you.
Well, and for those that don't know, and we're gonna do a better job of scheduling these in advance. Do you guys see these notifications? Because how long was this up? Was it up for a week? This live before?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I don't know when our
week.
Assistant put it up, but then I moved the night.
Yeah.
So.
But the goal is to do these at the beginning of every month. Spend about a half hour connecting, sharing your wins, giving you an update on what we have coming up.
Yeah.
And yeah, just creating more of a community.
So if you're joining us live, what are your wins this month?
Yeah.
And if you want to throw a little sunshine our way, how has Mended Light helped you this month? These are the things we want to know. But I'm going to start diving in, and then.
Well, and for being on YouTube, like, I don't even know how it works. Like, if we schedule these like a week in advance, does that give everybody? Do they get the notifications if they're subscribed? Like, how does that work?
If you subscribed and you click the bell, then you get everything.
Okay.
And it gives you a notification on your phone. So if you really love Mended Light.
Yeah. And if you want to be a part of these lives, we're going to do them once a month at the beginning of the month. We're getting a better system down. You should have at least a 5 to 7 day notice. They'll typically happen on a Saturday or Sunday evening.
Weekend evening sometime.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see. Survived another Christmas season. Well done.
Nice.
It's rough and it's cold and it's dark.
Depending on where you are.
You remind me of my dad. I get that a lot, actually. I am a good decade past any sort of sex appeal, and now I'm just remind everybody of their dad. And that's great. I love it. I'm like Paddington Bear over here. Just hopefully I make you feel like a warm hug. After losing my amazing therapist of 3.5 years a couple of summers ago and about a dozen failed attempts to find a new one, I finally found one in November who is willing and able to work with me, and it feels like it will be a good fit.
Oh, awesome.
That is awesome. And it can be hard. It can be hard to find that perfect mesh of skill set and specialty and personality and availability. It's I feel you. It's one of the reasons why we put free content on YouTube, just because for some people it helps them get by in the meantime, you know? I saw it counting down minutes and things like that. Survived 2023, biggest wins, working on my degree in counseling and starting my internship this month.
That's exciting.
Go, Chris. I look back at those times with fondness and gladness that it's all over. Don't ever.
So much gratitude.
Oh man, guys, grad school is. Okay. Finally started converting all my grandpa's VHS tapes to the family. Going to be a while, but at least I love that. Getting started on that. I love family history stuff.
We did an interesting thing with our light. I'm gonna fix
it was rushed.
Okay, it's all good.
Please continue.
Okay. Amazing news. I passed my midterms and finished 5 essays I had to do, passed all my classes with straight A's. Congratulations. Taryn spent Christmas with her boyfriend's 87-year-old dad in Arkansas. He may not have much more time with his dad, and seeing my boyfriend happy made me happy. That's really
awesome.
Sweet. Recovering alcoholic. Usually the holidays I struggle with depression, family dynamics, and I'm prone to binge drinking. I'm proud to say I didn't binge drink this holiday season. I'm high-fiving you right here. See that? Good job. Now I'm fist bumping you. This is fun. Look at that. Look at the clarity. I look like Superman crashing through a wall. Anyways. Sorry. Look, it's Saturday night. Things are a little whoo-hoo. So
listen. The holidays was not enough of a break.
No.
The holidays ended and I was like, I thought we took enough time off, but then as I say that, I'm like, no, we didn't. I never thought that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what are we going to do now?
Well, and you went to Houston to visit a friend, then you went to New York to visit friends. So
no, I mean, Houston,
You worked in Houston.
Yeah.
New York was fun, though.
Yeah, New York was fun.
Yeah.
That was swell.
And I just stayed here barefoot in the kitchen, wearing my apron with a feather duster, just keeping things going. But all in all, what?
That would imply that the house was dusted.
Okay, listen, we're moving on. The house was not dusted, but it was picked up.
It was picked up.
And and we even vacuumed.
It was picked up and vacuumed.
Yeah,
guys.
But you got kombucha on your something.
My lips are peeling.
That'll do it. But anyways, Crystal. We are so real in the lives. Crystal, sorry, that was my ADHD kicking in, but congratulations. That is a major milestone. That's fantastic. I tried to end myself in the past that I was living purely out of spite. I really had no purpose, but my nieces and nephews reminded me that they love me, so now I live for them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I was going to say kids are the best, but...
Oh, kids.
Kids
are great. We have a child that's really struggling with honesty, and I'm starting to be concerned because it's like no matter anyways. So we just had another lack of honesty run-in conversation that went along with people not being in bed and not doing what they need to do. It's one of the reasons
why we started late.
Yeah.
Dealing with a situation.
Oh man. Families are for real life, guys.
Michelle B, when I started letting myself eat more calories.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, good for you. Way to take care of yourself. At the end of January, write the path. I'll reach my 2nd anniversary at my job, the first time I've stayed this long in one place. That's awesome. Congratulations. Okay. Do we have any announcements or anything we want to... Okay.
Well, so we want to talk about what we have coming up in the membership site. This month, this quarter.
This quarter, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with this month.
While you're looking at
Go for it.
Okay. Well, I don't want to step on you.
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to talk about our course, and you're going to talk about our podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and then we also the monthly live.
So our course this quarter is called Being at Peace.
Yeah, Being at Peace.
Being at Peace, yeah.
Yeah.
Being at Peace. And it is a combination of a lot of things that we have read or listened to. Candidly, a lot of them Alicia has exposed me to. But we're bringing it all together for how do you find peace and harmony
in your own heart, in your own life, regardless of what's going on around you.
Yeah, in your hardest times.
Yeah.
When you're feeling disconnected from yourself, from others, when things are going rough, how can you be at peace? Because a heart at peace, a person who is at peace here, the storm can rage all around you and you can still be okay. And it's not just what we've read, it's what we've lived and what we've experienced both together and individually. We're pouring a lot of ourselves into this course. So that video course kicked off this week and we'll be going over the next couple months.
Yeah, it's a 10 lesson course, and a lot of the lessons have a part A and part B. So it's really like a 15 plus lesson course. Yeah. But it's great. It's like the YouTube channel on steroids.
That's what our courses are like.
Yeah. And then our podcast is similar topic, but it is around the book called The Choice. Yeah. And The Choice is an incredible book by Edith Eger.
Dr. Edith Eger, yeah.
Yeah. And she's a psychologist, but she was a teenager and she's still alive. She's on social media. She's awesome. She's 90 something.
Yeah.
But as a teenager,
go ahead.
Bless you. As a teenager, she lived through Auschwitz, which is just incredible. I've always been a World War II person for whatever reason. And I so badly want to meet her someday. So hopefully make that happen, but that's not the point. She wrote the book, The Choice. And after raising a family and stuff, her and her husband immigrated to the US, but after raising a family is when she went to college to become a psychologist and got all the way up to a doctorate. And her book, The Choice, just came out 7 years ago. It's very similar to
Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah.
She was actually a friend of Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, which many of you know is like my all-time favorite book. Actually, The Choice is probably tied at this point. Yeah. It's so powerful and so uplifting. And
Man's Search for Meaning is a beautiful book with a beautiful message, but it's very academic. And hers is just so connecting and has so much heart. Well, and so it really because she's lived it. Like very few people have lived such extreme circumstances where they say, no matter what happens, you always have a choice.
And it reads like a novel.
Yeah.
Even though it's her biography, her autobiography, it reads like a novel. And as I'm reading this, I'm like, somebody make this miniseries. Like HBO could do this in 10 episodes and it would be a banger. It's
powerful book.
Yeah.
So and that's what our podcast is around.
Yeah. Well, we take because you watch our Gets Therapized videos, right? And so in the Gets Therapized videos is usually some piece of pop culture as a springboard for a more serious discussion. In our podcast, we take a meaningful book and use that as a springboard for a meaningful discussion, and that's available on our membership site. And then we've got our live a week from today.
Yeah.
Our live for our members, which is an hour-long live about finding peace after trauma.
Yeah. Well, and what's fun about the lives is it's just a Zoom conversation with everybody that can make it. And while we have hundreds of people in the membership site, we have about 10 that regularly, 10 to 15.
We have about 10 or 15 regulars.
Yeah.
And other people who pop in here, there or watch. A lot of people watch them after.
And so if you want to have some one-on-one interactions, conversations, that's where you can get it, which is a real fun feature.
Yeah, it's a real nice feature. Where you log in, you watch the live, and then if you want to turn your camera on or your audio or just the audio or whatever you feel comfortable. You can interact with us, or you can type your questions right there privately, and then we'll read them anonymously and respond to them. And the Q&As. So this one is about finding peace after trauma. The Q&As always have a topic to kind of give them some structure, but the fact is we take all sorts of questions. So if you're struggling this month and you want us to answer your question live, that's something we can do. So the podcast, the courses, the live Q&As, as well as giveaways and drawings and merch and all sorts of great stuff. That is, go to mendedlight.com/25 and you can sign up for 50% off our membership, our monthly membership, and partake of all this stuff. Okay, let's dive back into people's wins.
Okay, Abigail said,
wait, here we go. Okay, here we go. Maya Chobut. I just subscribed to your website, so subscriptions, so that would be the membership site, and have been learning tons. Your work is extremely helpful. Thank you. That's awesome. Do you want to? Sorry.
Emily says, I'm in college to become a nurse. I'm very excited for the upcoming semester. Last semester, I passed with all A's. Congratulations.
Sonar Illusion Fox, which is still to this day one of my favorite screen names that's ever been created. Helping a friend out after being gaslit. Look at you. Way to show up for them. Abigail, after struggling with forgiveness towards my mother and having my perspective on my family shattered, I made a personal goal to be independent as much as possible that will not involve my parents much. Good for you. Because I'm autistic and now want to build my own life. Also, I'll turn 23 this month. Hey, happy birthday. Way to take major steps for your independence. Way to take major steps for living your own life. That's fantastic.
How do you find peace? Therapy cats, Jono. Lots and lots of therapy cats.
Okay, so this is going to be a quick little tangent into getting to know me. I love cats on a emotional level. I don't love cats on a physiological level. I am deathly allergic to about 80% of the cats I've met. No, I'm deathly allergic to about 20%. I'm allergic to about 60. And then there's about 20.
No, we don't know why, but some cats he's not allergic to, most cats he's allergic to, and some send him like through the roof allergy attacks. It would be entertaining if it wasn't so sad.
But there was a cat in our old neighborhood who wasn't ours, but he hung out at our house a lot.
I don't think the children at his house treated him very well. Like there was something kind of off. But
our kids just adored him, so he was always hanging out at our house.
Yeah, it was the best pet.
His name was Sundance. He was the most affectionate cat I've ever seen.
Basically lived out at our house that we didn't own. It was great.
And I was not allergic to him. Yeah. So I met after that. I'm like, if I could take him. And when we moved here, he almost stowed away in our moving truck. I caught him just in time to make sure that didn't happen. Yeah. This is true. This is a true story. Oh my goodness, my therapy Crystal, my therapist had me read the book The Choice and the follow-up book The Gift. There's a follow-up book.
There is. We have it.
Have you read it?
Not yet.
Should we read it together?
We could. I am looking for our next membership site book, but I wasn't planning on that being one of them.
Tom, it's my first time joining you live. Hello, Tom. Just wanted to say how much I love your channel and how much I love cinema therapy. I've saved a bunch to binge, so I can't wait for that. Binge away, Tom. Binge away. Thank you. I love that we are bingeable. That's pretty cool.
I wish our children thought that. Children do not think that at all.
I am a hit with at least 75% of our children. And so are you. So the polls are up.
So when our kids, not anymore because it's getting old, but for a long time, our kids would be like, hey, you want to know who my favorite YouTuber is? And I'd be like, me. Just look at me.
She's not being arrogant. She's just messing with them. Though, hey, you met a Mended Light fan couple in New York.
Laura and Chris.
Yeah.
I was at a Broadway show and they were delightful. So
yeah.
If Laura and Chris ever see this, so that it's always fun. It's always fun to meet people in real life.
If you ever see us in a public place and you think, oh, I don't want to bother them, please bother us. We love to meet you.
Well, and I started thinking, like, we travel a decent amount and some people follow our personal socials and then they know that and then they've reached out at various times, and which is so fun. Like we were in Israel last year and
2 years ago.
Yeah,
technically like 13 months
so
ago.
It was December of 2022.
Yeah.
And a fan named Sarah reached out and she was like, hey, if you happen, like, I can see you're in Israel and you're not very far from my house, and if you happen to go to this historical site, like, I'd love to meet up with you guys. And I was like, oh, well, that's fun. Like, I'll let you know.
We spent the day with her.
Yeah. And we ended up going to that historical site. So I messaged her, like, we didn't decide till that morning. So I messaged her and she messaged me right back, and it was fun. Like it was fun. And when a year before that, when we were in Australia, we had lunch with some fans.
With some people.
Yeah,
well,
and
they're
so
not fans, they're family.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe there's somewhere we could have on our website, because like, and I mentioned this to, we were eating dinner with some friends and they were like, you weren't scared that they were a creepy stalker? And I'm like, nobody's tried to kill me yet. So like,
here's the thing. If any of you are creepy stalkers, don't even try. This woman can handle herself.
Yeah.
She will throat punch you into oblivion. You don't even want to try it.
I do Krav Maga for fun.
You do Krav Maga for fun. And when she comes home, sometimes she's like, you want to see what I learned? And the kids gather around to see mom throw dad around. And it's super fun.
Yeah, super fun. But yeah, that was multiple tangents. But yeah, like, we're regularly all over the place, and it would be fun to just like have a spot that's like on our website where you can go and be like, here's the dates. We're going to be these places if you want to meet up. Because like, I'm not the type of person that's like so extroverted that I would ever reach out and do that, with someone.
We'd love to meet you.
But yeah, but if there was someone I was into and they had like that up, and I'd be like, oh, that's almost like an invitation. Then I would.
Yeah.
Then I would.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Anyway.
Montague. Hello, everyone. AAM. What time do you usually do the live Q&As? Usually in the evenings on a Saturday or a Sunday night.
Evenings Central Time.
And usually the first Saturday or Sunday of the month, but not always. So you just want to watch the notifications. Once again, if you're subscribed, click the bell, and then anytime we've got a new video or a live, you will get a little notification on your phone like this is happening.
Crix says, get a hairless cat. So they're creepy.
Yeah.
They're creepy.
I don't think I will. Dogs are great for therapy too. Yes.
I'm definitely more of a dog person.
Hope you guys have an amazing 2024 and achieve all your dreams for the year. Thank you. I'm assuming you're speaking to the entire community here, not just us, but thank you. Sorry, I've been missing the chats. Your children have these videos later. Yes. Yeah. The saliva. Okay. Cat saliva causes the I don't know. All I know is that I was at a friend's house when the cat brought us a mouse and was quite adamant that we take it. Like, they brought us a dead mouse and they were like, you must take this thing that I've brought you. This is what I'm doing. Okay.
Montague. That's how you pronounce their screen name. Okay. Share the wins that people sent in.
Okay. Here we go. Ready? Lightning round. My girl Stephanie. I was able to finish a story I've been struggling with writing and said no to my abusive mother. I also no longer want to die, and that was thanks to you guys. Like,
yeah.
How can you not feel great reading something like that? Thank you.
Well, and when people say that, like I've been there, right? Like I've had those periods in my life, and that's frankly why. And I don't want to speak for Jono because I like Jono's definitely had some dark times, but I don't know if he would be like, yeah, that seemed like a good option per se.
Oh no, yes, I have had that.
And so just being able to talk about the reality of that, but talk about it with hope and talk about it with some levity, right? Like, and not being overly dramatic. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that's for real life. And I was there, and I think more often than not, a lot of us have been there at times.
Yeah.
And recognizing there's an option for not staying there.
Yeah. Yep. Why am I looking at the light and not at the camera?
Towards the light.
My eyes found completely the wrong thing. That actually hurt. Another nerdy person is their screen name. Started going on regular walks and have maintained it since late November. Sometimes the walks are long, sometimes they're short. On the whole, it's helped me fight seasonal depression. Shout out to small and respectable improvements. Step by step, we'll get there, one foot in front of the other. Crazy Chris, 1757. Mended Light has helped me become more compassionate towards myself and others. It's super admirable to see that trait in you guys, and I hope I can carry on that trait even during hard mental health days. I have 21 of these, so I don't know if I want to go through all of them. I don't know if everyone wants me to read them, but here, see what's going on here, and I'll cherry pick. I wish we had time to do all of them and celebrate everybody, but Renee Parfait, this past month in December, my husband and I were able to take a leap of faith and move out of our old residence. And so she goes on to talk about they weren't in the best position financially, but their current neighborhood was giving them a lot of anxiety. But they're making plans to heal together in couples counseling this year from some things that went down in that neighborhood, which is awesome. Whoa, Aurora Borealis, what is that name? Finishing my grad studies and reaching 45% of my weight loss journey. Hot damn. People at Mended Light have given and continue to give their community compassion, hope, and encouragement. I appreciate the dives into deeper topics and advice. Thank you all. I'm gonna do like a sentence from each one. Crafts and Crimes at the finish line of a psychology degree, despite marijuana addiction and their 1 month sober. Chris trying to be productive. I struggle a lot with procrastination, and it definitely takes a toll on my mental health. My achievement is that I did a couple of things that I've been postponing for 6+ months. That feels really good.
Yeah.
It feels really good to get stuff off your plate. Weirdo 2603. These screen names are amazing. I graduated from community college with an associate's degree and am transferring to a 4-year university in 2 days, which is awesome. Okay. He says something really sweet about us, so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Mended Light is pretty educational and lighthearted, and I appreciate that about you guys. You guys reminded me to be more compassionate towards myself and prioritizing my mental health. So thank you very much for that.
Hearing people leave their messages about that they're learning to be more compassionate, like I'm like, that's a win. That's all I ever needed.
Jennifer Gwyneth applied for a new job and can now afford to get therapy for CPTSD, which is fantastic. The therapy, not the CPTSD.
Okay, so let's hop back over here.
Yeah.
Serious question from AAM. What exactly does it mean to have a personality disorder? The very name implies that a person is fatally flawed at their very core, beyond treatment, beyond redemption.
Yeah.
I thought I would let the therapist handle that question.
Sure. Okay, so here's something that you need to know about the field of psychology. It's not a pseudoscience, as some claim. It is based in rigorous research and evidence-based practices. That said, like any science, it's a work in progress. And it's conducted by imperfect people. And so I personally don't much care for the term personality disorders because of what you've just said, number one. Number two, everything that's in the DSM-5 is a construct that exists to help like organize, label, and give structure to behaviors and emotions and things that we're seeing so that we can help treat, right? And whoever said personality disorders, this is the name, was thinking like a clinician and an academic, and not thinking of what it's like to be on the receiving end of, I've been diagnosed with a personality disorder. Who I am is disordered. That's not the message that's intended, but it is the message that is given. What is a personality disorder?
Or a way it can be interpreted.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what the intention is.
Yeah. Personality disorders generally describe behavior, while mental disorders describe more cognition, thinking, and emotion, though there is some overlap between the two. But personality disorders are given that name because there are behaviors that are observed that are harming the individual or the people around them. And so what are we seeing? And here's the name we give it. But I agree 100% with your point. And I don't think anybody is broken irrevocably. I don't think anybody is, a disgrace or a reject, or I think we all have struggles.
Yeah,
I think we all have struggles, and we all have ways to learn and grow, and we all have obstacles, but we also have paths for healing. And so I think you and I should sit on the board for renaming what that term is, and it shouldn't be personality disorders anymore.
In a more supportive way.
Yeah.
Shannon says, I became more self-regulated, finished this term's courses with a better GPA and more connection than last year. You guys helped me towards better communication with others, especially with my parents. My dad is a thinker. Alicia's parenting style strongly reminded me of his parenting style. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I love that. And I love that. So sometimes, thinkers can be the most rigid, right? And they can be, and I'm a thinker closer, and I joke that my personality type has, or a thinker closer or a closer thinker, is easily the most narcissistic personality type, because they think they're right, and then there's a lot of energy that goes beyond that, and it takes a lot of humility to learn to value the other personality types. And sometimes, but there's nothing innately wrong with who I am.
No.
But there's a lot of opportunity for love and compassion because of natural traits, right? And sometimes because all personality types exist on a spectrum, and I call it a spectrum of maturity or emotional intelligence. Pick or choose, right?
Right.
And so when someone has had a relationship with someone else, especially a parent, and maybe they were on the immature side or low emotional intelligence, they can see traits in other people that are similar traits, even if that person isn't, I'm just going to use the word toxic, right?
Yeah.
And so then they're just triggered, even if it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Right. And I've had interactions. I had an interaction with a sibling who has some challenges in another relationship, and me being who I am in a very loving, compassionate way, that person started attacking me, and I was like, hey, this isn't the same thing, and I understand that you're dysregulated right now, but
you're lashing out.
Well, but no, I didn't say that.
No, but they
were lashing out, but I didn't tell them that.
Yeah.
I just said, I have needs too, and it's okay that I have needs.
Yeah. And
I'm communicating my needs in a healthy, respectful way. And I'm sorry that you have a relationship with someone else who doesn't communicate them in a healthy and respectful way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes because not a lot, but the minority, and I find this in real life too, minority of people will get like triggered around me, and I'm like, hey, I respect that. That's your journey. Just don't think that what I'm doing, like me being who I am, is not toxic. Just like you being who you are isn't toxic.
I think you have such a strong personality and have such a strong thinker closer that you're driven and you're accomplished and you're also rational and analytical.
Yeah.
But you're also very compassionate. But if people haven't had enough time to see that, if they just like are encountering you for the first time, sometimes it's like you remind them of somebody else.
Well, that's
who doesn't have your
that's
empathy
true.
And compassion.
But I find more often than not, people have the tendency to compare themselves. And me being who I am, if someone's in a place of comparison, they tend to feel very insecure.
Yeah.
And so it's the insecurity.
They compare your strengths to their weaknesses.
Yeah. It's the insecurity that comes up. And that's not something I created, but it's something they'll create.
That's why I choose to have no strengths, and then everybody feels right at home. Oh, mercy. Okay,
Dark Wolf has a semi-therapy related question.
First, last, Min Win, a hug. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much your words have helped. So when you're down, please remember all of the light you've put into the world with cinema therapy and Mended Light. All you cinema therapy folks, we're glad to have you here, but this is Mended Light. So show some love. But thank you for that. We do both channels. We strive to put light and help and love into the world. Dark Wolf question: I have severe anxiety, and if we don't, I want to read all of them, but at a certain point we have to.
Yeah, we're.
So it's not personal. I have severe anxiety. Panic attacks cause nausea. So as a kid, I selectively chose not to eat to protect my heart, throat, etc. Now my body is starving, but eating causes nausea. I can't heal both at the same time. How do I choose what to fix first?
So here are okay. So I'm a more what some might consider alternative health person, but I absolutely look at health as you need to get the support that you need, and the only right answer is the one that helps you. But like, if I knew you in real life and you were to ask that question, a couple things that I would do, just because I found them supportive, and you could start doing some Google searching. So recognize the emotions that you're feeling when the severe anxiety comes up. And then we have a free video. We go over this in our membership site, but we have multiple free videos on tapping, EFT tapping, and like releasing emotions and releasing beliefs. Yeah. And I want to say there's a total of 3 videos on it, but there's one I know for sure. I walk you step by step through all the, like, exactly how to do it, because if you're a thinker or you have a super desire to understand, you could read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, and how we store emotions in your body. And so it's not 2 separate things, it's the same thing. And what you're feeling in your body is actually your body loving and supporting you and saying, hey, you can't bury this. And so if you can learn the process of when you feel the anxiety, and we can't go through it right now, but feel the anxiety, recognize what you're feeling. And when you look for the videos, this will make more sense, but recognize what you're feeling, see what you want to replace it with, and then do the tapping to actually release that. That will help. I've had similar health issues, not with nausea, but like with my back. And because I held all sorts of emotions my entire life there. And I learned to release the emotions, and then I realized I had to physically teach my back to be different than it had ever been in my entire life after, 35 plus years. And so it's a process. The other thing I would look at is essential oils can be really supportive, like a digestive blend for essential oils. And then homeopathics can be, and I'm not giving any medical advice whatsoever, but if either of those things resonate with you, I would look at a digestive blend for essential oils that you can just put on topically. If that's your thing, if you're open to it. If it's not your thing, that's totally cool, because the right answer is the one that supports you. And then also Googling like homeopathics for nausea, because you're going to need to release the emotions, but you're also going to need the physical support to teach your body to be different. If there's also a lot of really great, wonderful teas, if teas are your thing, to like
very soothing.
Yeah, for digestive.
Yeah.
Because having experienced that with other body issues, I don't want to say body issues, but it was like I needed to address the emotions, but then I also needed to teach my body how to be different, and it's kind of a 1-2 step.
Yeah, I would only add to that because there's such strong research behind how important it is, how linked the mind and the body are.
Yeah.
And your ability to think and feel and process and experience life with healthy emotions, and what you're taking into your body, right? And so you ask what you should heal first. I think Alicia gave you wonderful advice on the path to take. I'll just talk about the principle. I recently, like literally in the past month, have made it a priority. I've been talking about doing this for years, of getting 8 hours of sleep a night. And I'm either working or I decide I want to stay up and watch something or I like have other things that I choose to do. And I go without the sleep that I need. And when I started getting 8 hours of sleep a night, I was amazed at the major differences it made in my psychology and my emotions. I've started drinking, I'm trying to drink a gallon of water a day as well. Start to get more exercise. And what it's doing, honestly, for me emotionally, is a lot of things that felt like a big deal are manageable. Never underestimate how important it is to take care of your body so that you can take care of your mind. Mm-hmm. And so while anxiety causes nausea, or for you, I would say, okay, well, if you're going to be nauseous, having some light grains and healthy proteins and fruits and vegetables in your stomach, it's not going to upset things as if you had super nachos and a giant Dr. Pepper, right? And don't get me wrong, I love a super nacho and a giant Dr. Pepper as much as the next person. But if you are taking into your body what your body needs, it will help with managing the anxiety. So that's my 2 cents on that. Cassie Perry, good evening, Deckers. Good evening, Cassie Perry. Adele Cryer, just noticed this happening here on vacation in the Florida-Alabama border. By mobile, or where are you at? I went to school thereabouts and was in Alabama for school. Went to Florida for the beaches. Sonar Illusion Fox, you and Alicia have helped me out to know and have given great advice through some of the darkest times of my life. Thank you so much, you guys. You've helped me find myself again. Damn, that's good stuff. What are some tips for handling OCD without medication? I have OCD, but don't want to take medication because I don't like the idea of a pill changing how I think, feel, or act.
Yeah.
What are some good I sighed because I was having a hard time reading, not because of your question. What are some good techniques for snap? Oh, that's a different question. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in that. I have a bachelor's in clinical psychology. I have a master's in family therapy. I have some experience working in mental health. Alicia looks like she really wants to say something, so I'll get it.
Okay, so here's, because I.
Okay, well, hang on. I just wanted to say what I was going to say. I will say that there is a time and a place for medication, and for a lot of people, it's not about the medication taking hold of your brain and taking the steering wheel away from you. It's more about giving you the steering wheel back. It's about regulating what's going on in there so that you can feel regulated and balanced again. And so for some people, medication is absolutely the right way to go. For others, there are other approaches to take.
Well, and we're actually going to be doing a video on what we're going to be filming it next week on. But when it goes live, we batch film. It could be a couple months before it goes live. But we're going to have a video coming up on like evaluating, should I take medication? Should I not? What's the process? And everything you just said is true. But as someone who's struggled with OCD, and it's been, for me personally, a type of coping mechanism. And I feel like most disorders, because they're all within the realm of normal behavior, but it's when they get to an extreme and it's affecting your ability to live your life in a healthy way, then it becomes a disorder.
Yeah.
And so a couple things I would, and once again, I have I love to use healthy food to, help me bring back into balance. Like maybe my body is needing something that it doesn't have. So I love to get it through food or herbs or essential oils or homeopathics. That's just the way I am. Not that I haven't ever taken a medication, but that's like my process.
No. You're not anti-Western medicine by any stretch, but you're always like, let's see what I can do naturally first.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But what I would say, so definitely look into those options. And if you want to email me, if you're interested in some of those options, I could give you some specific recommendations. If you want to email me at adecker@mendedlight.com, I'd be happy to give you specific recommendations. But
Man, here's my contact info. Here's where we're going to be traveling. Let's meet up. Alicia's just throwing caution to the wind. She loves you guys so much. I'm just being silly. I don't know. It's Saturday night. I'm feeling weird.
But what I would say is when the OCD kicks in, because for me, like when I come to the awareness of like, oh, this is my OCD is a coping mechanism. Like I feel out of control. So this is how I'm trying to show up with control. I'm not saying that's your experience specifically, but it could be. And it very often is. Like our disorders are just a coping mechanism. And we've gone too far into that coping mechanism, and then we can pull back and be like, oh, this isn't really serving or supporting me, but I don't know how to change it. Like I don't know how to be different, because our gut reaction is to just keep going down that path that's not really serving us.
You find a healthy coping mechanism and the disorder dissipates very often.
Yeah. Well, and like healthy is because I've used work as a coping mechanism, and that got to such an extreme. It's like, oh, that's not healthy anymore. And anyways, but that's something well, I won't go down that path. So definitely feel free to message me for specific recommendations, but more than that, just pay attention to what's going on in your life. What are you feeling? What beliefs do you have around like that specific experience that aren't true or that you could release, and what truth could you receive instead that could be serving and supportive? And just like I said earlier in the live, we have, I believe, 3 videos, but I know there's a specific one where I take you like step by step, but we also do that in our membership site in a real piecemeal sort of way. But our experiences are just bringing light to our unhealed emotions. But when we don't know what to do when that spotlight gets shown on our unhealed emotions, that's when we turn to something else as a coping mechanism. And it makes me think of Carl Jung's what he says, like, until we make the subconscious conscious, it will rule our life, and we will call it fate. And that is just the human experience. Like that is just what goes on for everyone.
Love it. I think this is going to be my last question. We got to wrap up. Richard,
we always say half hour, and then like 50 minutes in, we're like, we need to be done now.
Well, we like hanging out with you guys. Richard Pills, what are some good techniques for snapping out of fantasy about someone / love addiction / rumination and coming back into the moment of reality? I would say, okay, look, there's a long answer to this, and the long answer to this is worked out in counseling, right? But the shoot from the hip answer is, I've often thought the only guarantee you have in life, 100% guarantee, is that you will have yourself, right? From the day you're born to the day you die, you'll have you. Which isn't to say we shouldn't connect with others. We absolutely should. But my concern is that far too often we connect with others first, and we're not connecting with ourselves. And we look to others to fulfill us. We look to others to give us value, to validate us, to give us worth, to build us up. And we don't give that to ourselves. And in my estimation, very often love addiction or rumination about an individual boils down to, if I don't have this person in my life, I don't feel whole. I don't feel fulfilled. I don't know who I am without them.
I don't feel worthy.
I don't feel worthy. This is handing the power to somebody else. This is handing your self-worth, your feelings of self-worth, because your actual self-worth is innate. It's there, but your ability to tap into it, you're handing it to somebody else. And how do you snap out of it? I think you snap out of it by, instead of relying on them to give it to you and then feeling like you're starving or dying of thirst if they're not, you give it to yourself. And I have found, and I know Alicia has as well, that the more you look after yourself with genuine love and compassion, Alicia likes to call herself darling when she's speaking to herself, or dear, or say these very sweet and kind things to herself. She treats herself with care, and then you recharge your own batteries, and then you find that you have more to give. And so how do you snap out of it? I would say my shoot from the hip answer, you snap out of it by saying, what can I give myself that I'm hoping they would give me? What can I give myself so that I feel fulfilled and loved? And then if this relationship turns out and it, and it becomes a romantic partnership, wonderful. But I won't be, I know
we're not looking for our belonging or acceptance in, because we can look for it in a person, we can look for it in a career, we can look for it in a degree, and those are just, we can look for it in a lot of things outside ourselves, but they're all just facades. And that doesn't mean that they don't have value. They do have value, but they don't have value as far as our worth and our belonging.
Everything in its proper place, right? Jerry Maguire, you complete me. Hell of a romantic line. Really works in the context of the movie. In real life, though, you supplement me is far more indicative of a healthy relationship. That you complete yourself, but it doesn't sound as good. So we go with you complete me.
Louise Lincoln, hello from the UK. Thank you for being up at 3:45 in the morning.
Oh my goodness. Did it bother you when Alicia said herbs? Because you're from the UK, so don't you say herbs?
Oh, that was...
no, I'm not being silly. I'm actually asking.
Currently exploring somatic healing, EFT, EMDR. I love all of those things. And our therapy clinic incorporates them and uses them. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Love your content. We're swell.
We are. Well, I feel swell, but it's not the same thing as feeling swole.
Would you want to feel swell and swole?
Yeah. Anyways, Cassie Perry, you guys are all so sweet. Thank you. Everyone's been so loving. Ooh, okay. There's more. There's other questions.
Yeah. Yeah, Louise, I like your point. I sometimes wonder if OCD and many other mental health conditions are too far misaligned from the concept of addiction. They're all just coping mechanisms, right? And that's where I love to have the conversation of like, is this serving and supporting you?
Yeah.
And release the judgment from whatever it is we see.
Okay, we're gonna do a hard out in 1 minute, so I'm gonna lightning round a couple of these. Is there therapy for therapy trauma? Michelle B's talking about a therapist that was inappropriate over time and part of a cult.
Wow.
Is there therapy for therapy trauma? Tangentially, it's called exposure therapy, and it has to do with, oh man. How about this? Your brain associates therapy and therapist with a negative. Having a positive association, either with direct contact or hopefully here, can help realign that, okay, no, that's this individual, that's not therapy or therapists. But I would say that the therapy for therapy trauma is just trauma recovery. And honestly, if you're wanting to work through past traumas, that's exactly what we do. Go to mendedlight.com and schedule a 15-minute call with a member of our clinical team. The 15-minute calls are complimentary, and then you can see if they're a fit. And if you want to work with one of them, I wholeheartedly recommend it. Alicia in particular put a lot of work into our Innate Healing Trauma Recovery Program. I, of course, added some stuff here and there because I'm a clinician, but it works and it helps people. And if you don't get help with us, get help somewhere.
One last question from Mr. Morningstar. Best way to calm ADHD mind other than meds?
Well, I can speak to this because I have ADHD.
Yeah. Well, and there's certain nutritional supplements you take. There's what I would call a clean caffeine, and something to understand, like an ADHD brain, it works differently. So even like I've referenced essential
it's not
oil.
Even truly a disorder. No. It only is not functional in certain contexts with how our world operates and is structured. The fact is, people with ADHD thrive in certain areas where other people don't.
Well, and something to recognize, like, and we don't know the nuance of this, but their brains just wired differently. And so like caffeine makes normal people, quote unquote, wakes them up, makes them hyper. It helps people with ADHD focus. And so you use a nutritional supplement and you use a clean source of caffeine to help you on a daily basis. And it makes it so much easier. I referenced essential oils. Typically lavender is calming. Someone mentioned it. I love using lavender. For ADHD, lavender is not calming. It will wake them up. Peppermint, which normally wakes people up, is calming. And so it's...
I take Celsius, which you can buy in a carbonated form at a convenience store, but I recommend getting the powder and mixing it in. I take a Brain Sense supplement. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah. I mean, those are all just certain brands, but it's like, I would say Celsius is a clean form of caffeine. So you can get clean caffeine from multiple places. Brain Sense is a very bioavailable nutritional supplement that helps.
But with ADHD, it's a lot like other people. Like you need to do something to reset. Things are going too fast. There's too much going on. So something to reset and center. So honestly, I would love to say all these, do a relaxing meditation, or do a guided meditation, or listen to classical music, and all these things help people. But sometimes I play an Aerosmith song, or I play Van Halen or Metallica, or I listen to something that, like, all of that pent up energy, I can release it, right? Or lifting weights for me is a way to, all of this pent up energy, I just get it out and then I feel calm. Sometimes watching a movie or a TV show is good for a reset because it helps me to push everything else out and tune out all that noise. It's for those of you who are movie fans, the movie Man of Steel, even though he's a superhero, Clark Kent's, when he gets his superpowers, it's a lot like ADHD. He's a young child. You haven't seen this, but he's a young child, and Clark Kent has super hearing and supervision. But until he learns how to focus it, it just comes in as
too much,
as a flood of noises, and seeing through walls and seeing different fields of vision and a lot of different noises, and it's just terrifying for this small child. And his mom says, "I want you to imagine my voice is an island in the middle of the ocean, and the ocean is what you're being pounded with. Focus in on my voice and swim to it. Swim to me, right?" And so, and then he's able to kind of clear his head, right? And it's very similar with ADHD. All the thoughts, all the stimulus, every sound catches your attention, everything that's going on. And so what helps me also is to go to a place where there's not a lot going on. Go to a place where it can be calm and it can be still and there's not a lot of distractions. I am trying to do better about not working when I'm with our kids, because all of the things they say and do, it's like, if you have ADHD, it's agitating, and I'll get a head of steam of focus, something distracts me, and I can't just pick up where I left off. It takes me 5 or 10 minutes to kind of ramp up to where I was, right? And so setting aside time to be alone and not interrupted can be very soothing and calming. That's what I would advise. So
well, and last minute when he said ADHD requires nutritional supplements, so here's something to understand is like in the Western world, it's like we've compartmentalized physical health, mental health, emotional health. Like it's not compartmentalized, like they're all attached. And so what we eat affects us. And if we're not getting the proper vitamins and minerals so our body can function in an optimum way, it's going to have an effect on our mental health. And so like we have kids that struggle with ADHD and different things. And like, I don't think anyone would ever say like food coloring and refined sugars and corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup is like a good thing, but for certain people, it affects them drastically more. And so like we have one child that we have to be really careful what they eat, because it's like it's crazy. It's crazy sauce difference. Like between the way they behave depending on what they're eating. And then I have other kids, you can't really see the effect. And so just know ADHD is one of those things that what you eat can really affect you. And so getting the proper nutrition that you need and avoiding certain things can be really helpful and supportive.
Well, and that's why we talk about clean caffeine, because a Dr. Pepper or a Coke or a Mountain Dew, the dye and the high fructose corn syrup
generally has a significant negative effect on
alter
people with
my
ADHD.
brain chemistry in a way that I'm not crazy about. So anyways, thank you everybody for joining us. We've gone over time because we enjoy these little chats, darling. But welcome to the new year, and keep shining, folks. We need your light. We'll see you next time. And yes, go to mendedlight.com/25. If you've not yet signed up for our membership, it's 50% off, and we've got
if you want to join any of the fun things we were chatting about.
We've got for those who are just joining us, we've got our online video courses. Being at Peace is the course we're doing over the next several months. We're talking about the book The Choice by Dr. Edith Eger in our podcast it's about a lot of things, but what it's really about is finding your strength and to live joyfully and hopefully in your hardest times. And we've got a live Q&A this coming Saturday for our members. So we love you all. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
I can do this. I can do technology. There we go.
You're so good at it.